You're tuning into Black and White Sports on YouTube. The no-holds-barred truth on sports. The main event starts now.
All right, Black and White Sports fans, let's talk about Scottie Pippen again. We know that Scottie Pippen was very much triggered by Phil Jackson running a play in the 1994 playoffs for Tony Kukoc to take the last shot over Scottie Pippen. Now, Michael Jordan was not on that team. He was all playing baseball, and Scottie Pippen was the man on that team. However, Scottie Pippen felt like Tony Kukoc got the last shot because Phil Jackson was racist. I know this sounds absolutely insane, and I don't believe it for 1 minute. There's no evidence whatsoever that Phil Jackson wanted Tony Kukoc to take the last shot because of his skin color. I believe this is something that Scottie Pippen is just saying out there to sell books. Now, folks, I've talked to my brother. He's black. I've talked to my best friends. They're black also. None of us are buying into what Scottie's selling. None of us believe for 1 second that Phil Jackson is racist because of this. So I don't know what Scottie's trying to do. I really, really don't. We know that we're in the era of woke sports right now, so maybe some of the woke athletes out there will agree with Scottie Pippen. However, there's no evidence whatsoever that Phil Jackson was racist. And now we have an NBA Hall of Famer that is pretty much calling BS on Scottie Pippen. And I'm talking about Indiana Pacers great Reggie Miller. He's came out, he appeared on the Dan Patrick Show now, and he gave his take on the whole Scottie Pippen, Phil Jackson thing. And he is not on the side of Scottie Pippen. So let's go over here to Outkick here. And it says Reggie Miller brings logic into Pippen racism accusations. That I don't roll with. Scottie Pippen held nothing back once again the other day, this time firing a major shot at his former head coach Phil Jackson. But now one of Pippen's former NBA contemporaries has vehemently disagreed with his claims. Reggie Miller never played for the Chicago Bulls, but he responded to Pippen's implications that Jackson decided to give Kukoc the final shot of a game because of his race. And this is what Reggie Miller had to say. He said, quote, No, Miller said on Monday's episode of the Dan Patrick Show. See, I don't agree with that. No. There's plenty of times I've been a decoy on the Pacers team. There's just times when that has to be the case because everyone assumes and knows the ball's going to you. And sometimes you have to be a decoy. The whole racial point, no, absolutely not. That I don't roll with. And that is the words of Reggie Miller. And he's spot on here. Now, Reggie Miller, folks, was one of the greatest shooters in NBA history. NBA history, what he did to the New York Knicks in the NBA playoffs. I mean, he scored 9 points on 3 consecutive three-pointers in 10, 12 seconds. It was insane. He was a great shooter. But I'm pretty sure there's times when Reggie Miller was a decoy. Hell, let's just go over to the Chicago Bulls. Michael Jordan was known for his clutchness, the most clutch player probably in NBA history. But I do remember John Paxson taking a final shot in 1993. I remember Steve Kerr, 1996, taking a final shot against the Seattle Supersonics. And if I'm not mistaken, Jordan passed the ball both times. Now, whether you want to believe or not that the play was actually set up for Jordan, the right basketball play was made. It was. So, Scottie Pippen was absolutely wrong for not going into the game. 100% wrong. He was wrong. Michael Jordan even mentioned it in The Last Dance. Scottie Pippen was in the wrong. But Scottie Pippen now is holding this grudge against Phil Jackson for this. And now he wants everybody to believe that Phil Jackson is racist. And as of right now, folks, I don't think anybody is believing that Phil Jackson is racist. I haven't heard anything from Phil Jackson in the, 30 plus years I've actually been watching basketball. I haven't heard anything racist from Phil Jackson. But we know that Scottie Pippen has also been singing the praises of one LeBron James. Now, why I'm actually bringing this up? Because if you remember, folks, I'm going to jump over here. LeBron had an incident with Phil Jackson in 2016 when Phil Jackson used the word posse, and LeBron got triggered by that. Was it racist for him to say posse? No, but LeBron was kind of implicating that. And it's kind of funny now that Scottie Pippen is singing the praises of LeBron James at the same time when he was talking about Kevin Durant and talking about KD's not on LeBron's level. I don't know, but if you remember this, I'm just going to refresh your memory. LeBron James slams Phil Jackson for referring to business partners as posse. Now, this is from November 15, 2016. This is when, if I'm not mistaken, LeBron had just left and returned to Cleveland. But look here. LeBron James says he lost all respect for Phil Jackson after the New York Knicks president characterized James's business associates as a, quote, posse in a recent interview with ESPN. Zero, James said Tuesday when asked if he had any previous ties to Jackson. No relationship at all. I had nothing but respect for him as a coach for what he was able to do. Obviously, he was at the helm of the team featuring my favorite player of all time, Michael Jordan, and also being there growing up and watching him with the Lakers, but I got nothing for him. Jackson, in an interview with ESPN's Jackie McMullen, published this week, made the statement while revisiting James's departure from the Miami Heat to the Cleveland Cavaliers. There was controversy behind that in the summer of 2014 and what it meant for the tenure of Heat president Pat Riley. Quote, "It had to hurt when they lost LeBron," talking about the Miami Heat, Jackson said. That was definitely a slap in the face. But there were a lot of little things that came out of that. When LeBron was playing with the Heat, he went to Cleveland, and he wanted to spend the night. They don't do overnights. Teams just don't. So now Coach Eric Spoelstra has to text Riley and say, "What did I do in this situation?" And Pat, who has iron fist rules, answers, "You are on the plane. You are with this team. You can't hold up the whole team because you and your mom and your posse want to spend an extra night in Cleveland." I always thought Pat had this really nice vibe with the guys, but something happened there where it broke down. I do know LeBron likes special treatment. He needs things his way. And Scottie Pippen has been singing the praises of LeBron James. You know, this is definitely not a racist statement from Phil Jackson. I don't believe it for 1 second. LeBron kind of insinuated that, if you guys actually remember. But Scottie, man, to get back on Scottie here, Scottie has just been way off. I completely agree with Reggie Miller. I really, really do. Now, I grew up as a Hakeem Olajuwon fan. There were many times Robert Horry hit the bit shots. Mario Elie hit the bit shots. Kenny Smith hit bit shots. This is crazy. Just because you're the best player on the team doesn't mean you have to hit all the bit shots. You don't. And you let your team down, Scottie. You really, really did. That's just my thoughts on this. What do you guys think of this? Black and white sports fans, do you agree with Reggie Miller that he's not buying into the racist BS? I'm not either. I'm pretty sure that most of you guys are probably not going to be buying into any of this either. Scottie just went way overboard on this, trying to tarnish the reputation of probably the greatest coach in NBA history with no evidence whatsoever. His only evidence is Phil Jackson's white, Tony Kukoc is white. Therefore, Phil Jackson wants Tony Kukoc to take the last shot because he's white. I'm not buying that whatsoever. If that's the case, why did Michael Jordan hit so many bit shots for the Bulls? But yet, and still, nobody was screaming racism when John Paxson hit the shot and Steve Kerr. Scottie is crazy, and I'm glad that Reggie Miller actually came out and didn't agree with Scottie Pippen. Anyway, guys, let us know what you think about all this in the comments. Make sure you subscribe to Black and White Sports, and we'll catch you next time.
Thanks for watching the show. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Be sure to tune in next time on Black and White Sports.